No, not at all. It was very, very impressive game from him. Let's go ahead and move into the picks and bans now for the final game, which absolutely will be the final game here. A victor shall be decided between Sugar Pea Squad and Passion, as Sugar Pea will be the ones that are picking first. And right away, they're taking that Achilles off the table. They don't want to see Delnyy on the likes of that again. Something else has got to come out for Passion in the solo lane if they want to get it done this time, as Freya gets banned as well.
Perhaps a little bit of warrior focus as King Arthur continues to be banned away, and warrior or solo lane continues to be the focus here. I can't disagree with that, Finch. That's two things today now.
That's right. Yeah, I'm just spitting truth is what's happening as we get towards the end of the day. Susano also being banned away by Passion, and I'm curious if we're gonna see Ravana again here for Sugar Pea Squad. They've kind of prioritized this pick for Honeys in particular in that solo lane, and if they want to try and get that for him again as Kuzenbo comes in instead in that first pick slot, that does not mean that we won't see a Ravana.
I like seeing the Kuzenbo because last game it actually ended up getting banned out in that third, fourth banning phase. So I think that prioritizing the Kuzenbo definitely a smart direction to take things in. And not only that, but Kuzenbo is going to fare incredibly well, I think, against this Cernunnos Raijin. If there's one thing that Kuzen loves going up against, it's got to deal damage.
Well, let's get these carries comfortable again is what the draft is telling me right now. They've got Crimson and Fatal Ghost back in those same picks that did well for them last game, but they're doing the same for Teep. He's right back on that Agni, and they're going to pair with the Unboss. I like this. Kumquat was on the Ratatoskr last game. This time, we should be seeing him on the Unboss.
Seeing a lot of similar themes happening here for Sugar Pea Squad as far as what the rest of the day also consisted of. These guys are looking for a lot of area denial, and they have certainly found it. Fear no evil, Agni bombs, and the watery grave out of Kuzenbo. All three greatly effective when trying to surround those big objective team fights.
I wonder if we're getting another Hera jungle, because about everything else is the same. They obviously can't pick the Achilles because that's been banned away, but everything else looking the same. And to be honest with Passion, I think they're right. They kind of ran the beginning of that game, right? At the 30, I wrote down the 31-minute mark, they're up 10k gold, and they took down 2 Phoenixes. That's about as over as a game can be normally. But instead, it took another 22 minutes or so for them to close that game out. I think if they play the same one and just clean it up a little bit towards the end, no reason not to try this.
I think a lot of times the problem for Sugar Pea Squad also was that it was only their front line that would survive some of those engagements that took place, and so there wasn't really anybody left to push down those remaining structures or look to apply pressure into the fountain room yet again. And that was where the difference happened for Passion. Their team was essentially no front line and just all aggression like we've already talked about. So for them to keep running with what worked, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Bobby will be back on the Hachiman again, it looks like here. The question is now, what will they give over to Delnyy this game? And it shall be the Odin, one of the few warriors that hadn't been taken off the table this time, as Achilles and King Arthur were both banned right away. Hindu informed me I have to still refer to him as King Arthur. He gets to just say Arthur. I don't get that privilege, is what he let me know. So Odin, not a king, just a regular guy, gonna round their draft out.
But I like seeing it. Odin is a good response pick for the anti-heal against Guan Yu. Plus, you can trap everybody inside of that cage outside of the Humbats.
Yeah, should be difficult for them to try and get out of this Odin cage. But will that be enough for Passion to claim this game, or will it be Sugar Pea Squad instead that closes this one out? Either way, the casters will have the action for us.
We will indeed have all the exciting action of which team throws the hardest in game number 3, because game 2, they both did their best multiple times.
You're going to go that route. I'm going to go with which team secures the win better.
Yeah, let's go with that. Early on in this one, though, Truancii going to start things off with a Phantom straight away. Hamster going for the blink on the Odin. Definitely an interesting tale there. I do like the Odin pick this time round against the Guan Yu. It's going to cause some problems. Agni too. And even for the Kuz, he gets traps inside.
Basically everyone except for the Humbats. So this is a great selection. It might even force out an early Phantom, and we do see it onto Truancii, making sure that you're fighting fire with fire. Support Odin, support Kuzenbo. Level 5s come around the corner. Not only keep yourself alive, but your Hunter and your mid player.
Yeah, a lot of respect out of Truancii there. I'm surprised by the blink on Hamster. He really wants to make this Odin get going early by the looks of it, by going blink. Normally you'll see, you know, the shell or the emblem to cause some problems. Ghost, meanwhile, though, he's just whacking away on Truancii, who tanked up most of that. It did stop the purple buff being done, however.
That's true. So the thing about blink here is, like, if Hamster is even a second faster to rotate to middle as they're both rotating from the duo lane, then that blink is going to be the telltale sign of finding that kill early enough that you can lock down Crimson, or sorry, lock down Teep before the Phantom comes available.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the major focus that we're seeing time and time again from from Passion, has been focused Mr. Teep on this Agni. Game 1, they were doing it. Game 2, they tried to as well. Game 3, Odin's good at locking him in place as well with that ring. So we'll see if he can keep the pressure going and actually find the winner.
I'm a little surprised, though, that it's not Hamster playing the Fenrir, considering that he had a fantastic showing on that Fenrir in game number 2. So now they're switching it up with a flex pick, putting the Fenrir in that solo lane for Delnyy instead.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure which way they were going to do that instead. Now, Guan Yu has got a bit of pressure in this lane early on, surprisingly enough. Honey's up with a bit of a lead at the moment. Once that mini wave clears, they should both ding 3. But Delny's not having the easiest time of it at the moment.
And the thing is, Odin is going to really lock down the Guan Yu anyway. Same way he's going to lock down these other couple characters that can't jump over the wall. And if you can force a Guan Yu to go for a level 1 Phantom over a teleport, you've already won the lane. Honestly.
Well, luckily enough, he's not going to have to go for the level 1 Phantom this time round. Truancii on the Coos isn't scared of taking a bit of damage. As you can see here, root in place and rolls away. Gets hit by the bird bomb from Hamster after the fact. Speed buffs are coming up, and both junglers are near enough in position. Jangaru on this Hera again, though, totally. I didn't really like it. Game 1, he didn't do much.
I just really want to see like the Ao Kuang or the Habwas if he's going to be hell-bent on picking up some sort of magical.
It feels like it's one of those situations where, you know, people say Hera's good and strong, so we must pick it. And so it's game picked, right?
Maybe that could be it. Like, you don't want to play against it, so you pick it. But then now Crimson really wants to play Raijin and not Hera, so it's like, well, damn, I picked up this Hera. What am I going to do with it, right? Stick it in the jungle? Well, sure, why not? It worked out game number 2, but I don't think it was because of the Hera, personally. I didn't see it shine to the point where it was justified in that role.
Well, it did, I guess, bring some CC to the battlefield, the same as what most assassins in the jungle are attempting to do. But assassins, they go for the kill as well as the control sometimes.
That's true.
Or being a bit of both. In that instance, wasn't the case. Bobby eats a bird bomb, but I love the fact he just stood there, ate it, and went, no worries, I've got sustain.
He's baiting himself out on purpose to allow Truancii to sumo slam the Odin afterwards, but Truancii's a little too far away, couldn't get the right angle to get that Odin under the tier 1 tower.
Purple buff defended, though, for Pea Squad. That was quite important, because Passion did get that first wave clear advantage, but they got delayed enough to allow Pea Squad to control their own jungle. So that means everyone's jungle is still even. The gold is pretty much similar between the two. Actually, Pea Squad, bit of an advantage.
Oh, Crimson.
Well, that was a play.
If Kumquat was level 5, I could see that idea. Or like at least get in there, drop the ultimate, force the purification beads, and reset. But taking 1, even 2 tower shots just for a level 4 overhand smash, not really worth.
But he didn't hit the smash. That's the funny thing. He backed away from it. I think that's the extra mobility overhand smash has now.
That's true.
That he took a step back as he was moving, so
he's not used to it.
I don't
he's
know if he
so
would've got
old
the
school
kill.
that he's not used to the new.
I think it was. I think that's a lot of things Sombat's players are having to get used to now, though.
Similar to how we changed Uller way back when to change the
axes.
axe. Yeah, that makes it like feel like a totally different character with the setup.
Oracle's going to go the way of Passion then, just to even things out a little bit more in terms of the mid-camp objectives. Both sets of Harpies have also spawned up too, but you can already see Hamster. He's waiting for Teeps to rotate. The bad news is Teeps going to see him on the corner and go, nope, 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 nope. Back step, and to the tier 1 tower we go.
No reason for him to get involved there when his support with the Phantom, by the way, is all the way still in that dual lane. And you have to assume that the Odin is still hovering around that left side of the map. So if I'm Teep, I'm not going anywhere near there.
No, he's just going to be careful about his position over and over. Delnyy doing his best job as he can to try and freeze as many of these minions around the tower line and look for a cheeky little play onto Honeys. Ragnarok will drag him all the way back. Cavalry charge and response. Brutalize and tower shot. Great stun, though, from Honeys. The decision to dismount actually, I think, kept him alive.
Perfect timing there, because if the stun doesn't happen then and there, then you can cancel the Brutalize and then use the Unchained that was coming off of cooldown. And maybe Delnyy could have canceled a little bit earlier, anticipating that stun anyway, but at the end of the day, a good
Argus, dash. No follow-up damage yet. Oh, the poly hits. Argus on. Go, Argus, go! No, Argus, no! Meanwhile, on the back of that, now the jungle Hera avoided.
He missed another
the
one.
overhand smash on Kumquat, so he's forced to fear no evil. Beads down. Truancii coming into the rescue, and he's going to hit the watery grave. Where's Mr. Teep? There he is with the kill.
With the bomb of the fire, finding the first blood of the game. Almost 6 minutes in, Mr. Teep getting himself some more stacks now of the Mage's Blessing about to be completed to get himself that 10% cooldown reduction. Still going for Shoes of Focus.
And if you think about that situation, if you were an assassin in that spot, Guan Yu would have died. He could have a blink for the pickup as well if need be. But not at the end of the day. Kill is dropped and goes the way Sugar Pea Squad.
Look at Honeys having a lot of health from the Blackthorn's Hammer. I don't think it was completed all the way through originally, but I think it was at the tier 2 version if I'm not mistaken.
It went out pretty well then for Sugar Pea Squad. I'm really surprised that he survived that. Argus actually died to the tower.
That's right.
Just as he was looking for the killing blow. Couldn't chase down the Guan quick enough. I think it was just the delay from Jangaru getting the kill allowed the cooldowns back up of Guan Yu to get the dash evade.
Yeah, that could have been it. Especially just being that close to his tower line was so easy. And it was not enough damage, unfortunately, from Jangaru that has to choose to focus. If that was Pen Boots instead, or if he had fully evolved Assassin's Blessing for the natural penetration, that might have been a kill.
Interesting what we're going to see out of Hamster's build as we watch him blink on Teep in the mid lane. But there's a nice little use of the Phantom. And I was just watching Truancii and Teep just react calmly to that. Beads used by Teep, waited for the Phantom, and as soon as it's popped, dashes through the wall.
Just wanting to make sure that he got just the right amount of distance because Truancii was on one side of the cage and then Teep was on the other. Then he needed to really coordinate that one to save the mid laner's life.
Delnyy will get his blue buff, but will have to surrender the Totemoku to Honeys yet again. He's had a couple of these so far in the laning phase, as you'd expect with the lane pressure he's had so far. Delnyy will bring a lot to their team fights, though, with this Ragnarok, which I'm looking at. Who do you reckon will be the prime target from Teep again, is it?
It's, I mean, late game, if you force out the beats, then yes, you're going to definitely force Teep in a bad spot. I think, honestly, you could even pull in Truancii. If you could get Ragnarok, Truancii away, meanwhile Hamster goes in and cages everybody, then there's no Phantom, and that could be the perfect engage.
So it's a bit of a dance that may have to happen. Bit of a quicker game so far. We're only 8 minutes in, but we've at least had a kill in the engagement with the skirmish over on the right-hand side going a little bit longer than bargained for here. Both the Hunters once again. They've not really found the kill solo on each other, but they have been quite happy to fight. As is Kumquat, who's trying to get over the wall right now. Fear no evil as Hamster lands, prevents the option. Crimson's drums makes Teep get killed as Jangaru drops Argus for the kill.
Odin's cage cooldown a lot shorter than the Phantom, so finding a kill onto Teep, avenging the death from earlier onto Jangaru, so that was a great look as well, 1-to-1.
We're excited to see what this Odin can really bring, using these ultimates consistently to try and trap in the Agni player. Because obviously Truancii has the Phantom, but the cooldown total is just a little bit longer.
Just a little bit too long there, so leaving Mr. Teep high and dry. He needs to be worried about his positioning a little bit, and originally it was Kumquat that was in trouble, having to use that ultimate defensively, and that put Teep in like this weird situation where he's trying to at least get off some damage to the people that are chasing and the people that are CC'd by the Fear No Evil. But he tunnel vision a little bit too hard offensively, wasn't aware of the Odin behind him.
Still interested what Hamster's going to do with this build. Got the Shillelagh online. It's going to be the Blackthorn Hammer here for the Odin player. Ragnarok, cavalry charge used. Delnyy under pressure under that tower for a second, but he will use the Brutalize to get it behind it, avoiding the stun for now.
If he had Breastplate of Valor for all the physical defense, then I can see how Honeys could tank the tier 1 tower for maybe 10 tower shots before he's in serious jeopardy, but only having Blackthorn's Hammer for the 450 health is just not really enough to warrant that kind of a dive.
Speaking of Blackthorn Hammer, we just mentioned it on Hamster. How do you feel about it? I mean, it gives cooldown as well, so it's not going to be too bad for an Odin to have this.
That's fine. No, I think it's totally fine. You're getting 10% cooldown reduction. You want to get this item with the power as well. Odin Bird Bomb scales very well off of physical power, so it's going to go a long way.
Hamster walks into the jungle, meets a Kappa. Kumquat's hanging around there too, and I think Jangaru just spotted him out, which will force a reset from both teams here as Hamster also walks away, realizing there could be a bit of a pickle of a situation. Hamster has the ring available if he wants to use it. He'll choose not to. Instead, falls back towards the Oracles and the rest of his team.
If Crimson is not next to Hamster, I don't see a world where Odin would want to really drop that Odin cage unless he's trying to bait out Truancii in like this weird mind game situation where it's like, oh, here's a cage. What are you going to do to it? I might have somebody around a corner. It's very scary.
Well, on top of that, Truancii's there with, I've got Phantom, it's okay. And I am still Kuzumbo, so I'll just dash to safety or Warrior Grave. Honeys and Delnyy still going at it, both level 11 at the moment. No kills over in the solo lane, even though there's been plenty of action and damage, as you can see by the damage charts. But to be fair, 5.5k at 10 minutes is pretty low ball in the grand scheme of things.
I agree. And with Void Shield being complete for Delnyy, I think Gladiator Shield probably being worked on for Honeys. I don't see either of these two soul laners dying anytime soon in the 1v1. You add junglers into the equation, that could be a different story entirely.
So the moment the Oracle is, the Pyromancer is available, the Oracles are down, left and Harpy's up. Once again, both teams, it just doesn't feel like there's much action. I tell a lie, Passion have gone for a cheeky Gold Fury play, but Hera's been spotted on this rotation. I don't think anyone's going to be here in time from SugarP. They don't realize how dangerous of a situation this was.
Wow.
Passion, sneak a Gold Fury. Well played.
I'm not sure what intel that they had to allow themselves to do that Gold Fury. They must have seen Truancii back to base from somewhere, and also seeing that Kumquat was nowhere near the vicinity. And that was an accurate play, because securing it at the 11-minute mark is putting the foundation laid underneath themselves to start building some more.
And that foundation really is just investing into their third item a little bit more now. You'll see that as things start to continue. Hamster now, you can see a bit more magical defense for himself at the moment. More than likely, well, we've seen a couple of options here. Could be a Pestilence this game with the amount of sustain that we could have coming out from Pea Squad. Specifically because Teep really likes going this Soul Gem and Agni in mid too.
And this makes sense if you do go for Pestilence, because seeing Honey is already sitting at level 13, this is where your heal is going to be basically maxed out depending on how many points you put in the Cavalry charge. And that's also when the Guan Yu wants to start rotating. Having 20% cooldown reduction is going to go for the teamfight favor out of Pea Squad.
I'm still not sure though on that Glad Shield. I'm looking at the Glad Shield now, telling him like it's a little bit delayed to make real worthwhile use out of it, right?
It should have been a Breastplate of Valor at this point. Honestly, yeah, you are spamming abilities, but what you really want to do is just dash heal, dash heal, dash heal, reset your cooldowns anyway, and you're getting 10% more cooldown reduction from Breastplate of Valor, and you're getting a lot of mana, and you're getting a lot of MP5. It just makes more sense.
Yeah, well, he's got damage then, I guess, is what you can bring from that. We'll see what if it can give him something else. Hamster's in mid lane. Looking for a gank on Teep. Teep gets trapped in the ring. Truancie's on the way with the Phantom. I'm coming, buddy. I'm a Phantom. Oh, no. Too little, too late. They let Argus drop on his freaking face. Truancii and Teep thought they were playing, having funny business, because they were both like sat there going, all right, we can relax, we can relax. It was too late.
No, there's no relaxing at all. I think what Teep should have done was walk closer towards Truancii while Truancii was coming closer to Teep, kind of meet halfway in the middle, and then use your dash to get out of that Odin
Ghost
cage.
in trouble, has no dash available. He just used it in the engagement with Bobby, but he's swinging at Kumquat. Kumquat's going to get away. The Aegis bought him a bit of time. The Fear No Evil over the wall from Kumquat will allow Bobby to get the kill on Ghost. Watery Grave to try and dissuade, but there's Crimson with the drums.
The long distance shots. Crimson will get answered back by the little turtle. It is a 1-for-2 on the left side of the map, but I don't think Hamster wants to let this go, knowing that Jangaru right behind him.
Another tower, Truancie's one hit. He was too busy taunting, and now he's got no life. That's what you get for taunting an Odin, friend. Back to base, son.
That's right. They didn't even really need the Hera jungle there, as missed the polymorph anyway, didn't land any basic attacks. So basically a solo kill right on top of Truancii. I believe that was a 2-for-2 as the dust settles.
Hey. Jangaru got an assist there.
Moral support. Sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
He was cheering on the Odin. He's like, you can do it.
And brought Argus out for good measure too. 4-3 then, this endeavor of a game between the two. Less than 1,000 gold separating them at approaching 15 minutes in the game. Just a 1 gold Fury down. Next one to spawn is going to be the Oni Fury, which means that this could make a bit of an impact. If someone gets that Oni Fury, the pressure of the minion wave will cause a couple of problems for the opposition team.
It could. It's very possible. It's a little too early for it to be that impactful of a wave, because everyone's still in farming mode anyway. No one is going to leave any lane unattended. And on top of it, it's only one Gladiator minion. So even if there was a lane unattended and there's a full Oni wave hitting your tower, I believe that the tier 1 tower should still be able to handle it.
Left-hand side, a lot of pressure for Passion here as he's keeping Bobby pinned under this tier 1 tower. Jangaru's hanging around in the jungle for a rotation, which isn't coming at the moment. It's allowed Ghost to just chip away to half health. And if Bobby's not careful, Jangaru could catch him as he walks into the lane.
Oh, there goes the air. Knocked up, knocked back down, missing the hands, but Argus is going to chase out Bobby, absorbing the tower shots to allow them to get the tier 1 tower.
Hamster, though, is here, and he's going to put a ring on it. Now the rest of the team comes in. Ghost and Jangaru can't find the damage to kill him. It takes a long time. Kumquat, though, over the wall with the Fear No Evil, will pick up the kill on Ghost, or will he? No, Ghost gets out. Are you serious?
Everyone's getting out here, Hinduman, unless Honeys has something to say about it, looking for the stun. It will connect onto Hamster, but there is no follow-up damage.
So 1-for-1, Ghost still alive, trying to run away from Honeys and does so in time. Dash from Honeys is good, he finds Jangaru who's helping out his team. Aegis down, one dash will be good, and there it is. Picks up another kill, making a 2-for-1 in favor of Pea Squad.
But what is Crimson going to be able to do as a result? Great dash and jukes from Honeys. He's not going to be able to get taunted into that tier 2 tower, even if he was. Plenty of protections and health to deal with it.
Right-hand side, though, because of this rotation from Honeys to help out the duo lane, he's allowed Delnyy to take a tier 1 tower on the right-hand side. That's forcing him to stick around here and look for one on the left-hand side in response.
Trading 1-for-1 and more than just a kill category, even for the objectives with this tower trade-off. So keeping the game relatively close here. Not much is separating these two teams, and it's very justified to see the theme of this game being this even with us in game number 3.
I joked at the start of this third game about who's going to throw the hardest, but that fight there, I don't know how Bobby survived as long as he did. Should have been bursted down, but it was just a comedy of errors that allowed Pea to really go on a rampage now. They get the Oni Fury off the back of that. Their own jungle as Honeys is just keeping them busy in mid. Now he's trapped in a ring though and may need some help.
And there goes the help. The Phantom being popped by Truancii, but I don't
care.
think that actually matters because Honeys wants to use it offensively now.
He looks for the pressure onto Ghost, and Ghost giving as good as he gets. Hamster trying to slow down Honeys, and August dropped by Jangaru, not enough to bring down Honeys whatsoever. The sustain is just too much out of the Guan Yu for them to find a kill or pick him off.
Teep was doing a little bit of damage, deterring Passion from chasing down that kill any longer as Honeys does escape with his life. He is able to really use a lot of this cooldown reduction, 30% total between the Blackthorns, between Gladiator Shield, and now the Genji's Guard.
Interesting choice from Truancii here. His build last game was a little bit interesting, a little bit unorthodox. Same again for this game. He's gone for the Relic Dagger here. Now I understand that because of the Phantom total, right? Like it gets the cooldown a little bit low on the Phantom, meaning it's up almost as often as the Odin Ring. Do you like the idea? Is it the right play here?
It's an interesting play. I'm not sure if it's the incorrect or the correct play, but having a 20-second shave off of your Phantom might be the difference between saving Teep or saving Bobby potentially or otherwise. So it makes sense. Some other options that he had if he really wanted to was going for some sort of stacking item, like Gauntlet of Thieves, for example, or if you wanted to go for an aura item, looking at the builds here, or the other characters. A lot of magical damage between the Hera and the Raijin. I wouldn't be surprised if he still goes for that Hardware Amulet.
Well, the Oni Hunters, sorry, the Oni Fury. That's going to be so annoying, Zid.
Oni Fury versus
Oni Hunters Garb. Like, I don't know why. It's just Oni makes me want to say Hunters. But the Oni Fury going down didn't really make that much of a deal in the end. Just a bit of gold then for Pea Squad. Right. They didn't manage to get any towers off the back of it. The minion waves didn't cause much of a problem that way.
Still farming mode, so yeah, you're going to be able to deal with that wave easy peasy lemon squeezy as Passion now is grouped up 4 members strong down the mid lane. Hamster kind of shooing away the Hun Bats, trying to at least identify where the potential blink is coming from.
Yeah, I love the rotation from Ghost here. He's already lost his tier 1 tower in the left, so he can't really lose much more on that left-hand side. So that rotation to mid lane with the rest of Passion opens up a window to take a tier 1 in the mid lane. So the right side of the map is definitely in favor of Passion now.
Hamster looking for something. Phantom not available for another 8 seconds. If they drop the ring now, they could take full advantage of it, but they missed their window of opportunity.
Yeah, Phantom has just come back up now for Truancii as Honeys goes aggressive, just keeps the pressure going. And the cavalry charge mounted on towards Jangaru in the backside. He had a shield up though, so he ate most of that damage for free, and Honeys still taking on the whole squad with support of Truancii and Kumquat as his carries kill the Pyromancer.
Both of these teams sneaking objectives against the other Pea Squad. Almost 20 minutes in, getting themselves a Pyromancer. Hamster taking a lot of damage, trapping in Teep. Down goes Argus and the Wild Hunt.
Lots of damage from the drums, and Truancii's will fall down to Ghost, and the basic attacks there. 1-for-0 exchange. Pyromancer did fall to Sugar Peas, however. Passion don't keep the aggression going. Immediately they just go back to farming, clearing out the jungle for the most part here.
Relying on the heal from Honeys, but they need to spend all that gold in hand after confirming the objective. Passion can't really go for the gold here, not due to respawn for at least another minute in time, but at least they can walk away confidently knowing that they are capable of locking down this Kuzenbo support.
Do these two teams look like they could be the top 2 over in North America with how it's standing so
Hard
far?
to say. It's still week number 2. I think that there's still plenty of action. I want to see Hype Unit play a little bit more.
Yeah.
That is obviously the creme de la crop of the North American console scene, and honestly, I think everyone would agree with that statement.
That's fair. I mean, Sugar P's week one, I believe they weren't broadcast on air, but they did have an interesting time of things in the off-air broadcast, so to speak, with a game that went, well, kind of similarly to this, unfortunately. It was a bit of a back-and-forth encounter, a game of throws, so to speak.
And anything goes online, honestly, as well. Like,
that's true.
It is so easy to get kind of not lost, but just too comfortable online. Whereas if you're playing on the LAN environment, just everything changes, and that's where the true characters is being tested between all these players.
I do love the variation in builds, though. Everyone's still trying things out at the start of the season. Nobody's really sure what the meta builds and picks are at the moment, what's OP and not. Everyone's got an opinion, but all of those are just opinions. They're not always facts.
You can make any item work in a given situation, right? Like this Talisman of Energy pickup from Hamster is perfect if you're starting to group up, starting to siege down some of these towers, right? And even if you wanted to go for Emperor's Armor to synergize even further with it, like you can utilize it in an effective way, but your team fights in the jungle is going to be awful as a result. So like pick your poison.
I always see it as a challenge when someone goes, yeah, any item can be viable, and now I'm trying to rack my brain for the worst possible item, where I'm like, okay, we're going to make this viable. I don't wonder what the worst item is in the game right now.
I don't know.
Ring down from Hamster, trapping Bobby in place, but he's on his own. And Bobby's just happy to stand and bang. No Phantom used on that, and Hamster ate more than he bargained for. Honeys is there after the fact, so is the Fear No Evil from Kumquat, and he'll get the kill onto Hamster. Delnyy does pick up one and bring Truancii all the way back to his team for Crimson, pick up the kill, and immediately dip out of the engagement. 1-for-1, support for support.
It's an even Stevens battlefield, but Delnyy forced it back to base while the rest of Sugar Pea Squad utilizing the heal out of Honeys, now trying to lock down Argus as Crimson just obliterates Teep.
Well, that was just Argus being Argus and marching on, giving vision for Crimson to get the damage out and cause the problems for him. Nice little work from Passion, and now they've opened up a window to get themselves a Primal Fury here. That'll give them some gold, but more importantly, a bit more of a bonus damage to the camps in the jungle.
Argus kind of thick, giving him the double clap there.
Oh, is that the end of it? I wasn't sure what was up next. I was like, okay.
No, just double clap.
What's the double clap?
The double clap. It's like the walrus hands, except it's Argus double clap.
Overhand smash. Okay, I get it. Like two hands, windmill punches.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't sure what that meant. 8-6 then with the last goal Fury, should I say, Primal Fury now going down. Bit of pressure for Sugar P on the right hand side for a moment. Delny's doing his blue, but we'll be back in time to clear out the wave. Do you feel like anyone's got an advantage this game?
No, not at all, actually. This game is so even. You thought last game was pretty even. This game is more even.
Can it be more even? I don't think last game was even. Last game was this team in the lead, that team in the lead, this team in the lead. This one is no one's in the lead.
If you thought the number 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9 existed in this game, you'd be so wrong.
Because that's prime numbers?
That's odd.
Odd numbers. Oh!
We're only dealing with even numbers here, Hinduman.
Yeah, I guess so. Kill me. This game can't end soon enough with these calls. Fire Giant setup is happening from Passion right now, but there's a lot of wall coverage around for Sugar Pea Squad too, just to keep what's going on in check. Instead, Passion going to send a couple of members to the right-hand side, looking to pressure for a tier 2. Sugar Pea Squad going to respond, but Delny's going to try and prevent that from happening. Honey's being engaged on, but that is a tank after all. Phantom used, and Phantom will allow him to escape, but they had to invest a lot for the kill. Can they find it more after the fact?
Oh, Crimson barely escaping with his life, still throwing those barrels down on top of Truancii. 2 clean picks. Passion now with a 5-on-3 advantage, thinking about how they want to put pressure on this tier 2 tower.
They're going to use Argus to tank it up where they can. Hamster actually was the one leading the charge there, just get the minions in range. Tier 2 does fall down. It was a lot of investment on Honeys there, Tolly, but it paid off.
It did.
They got the kill.
They finally got the kill, and unfortunately for Sugar Pea Squad, that was just such a detrimental team fight to lose, knowing that Teep wasn't there. He was kind of in the mid lane, gathering some farm for himself, finishing off that Soul Reaver, but giving up the Fire Giant now.
They do damage the pulls. You know, if you all stand around in a circle, the pulls will do more damage. Fire Giant goes to Passion. It wasn't clean, but it didn't need to be because nobody from Sugar Pea Squad could really get in range to cause him a problem. The Pyromancer after the fact will now fall, and Passion, for the first time after saying, hey, it's all even. It's not anymore. There's a good 6k gold lead.
That's true. No longer even. So now we can get rid of 2, 4, 6, and 8.
Who do we appreciate?
Passion.
Because they're winning?
Well, that's
Okay.
when teams are winning, you cheer for them, right?
You also cheer for the losers too, right? I mean, America, I mean, you know.
No,
you
we're
still cheer for
only
the
front rowers, or whatever they're called here.
Front rowers?
There's some sports terminology where you only
Are we in a
cheer for the
boat?
winning team.
Oh, okay.
I forget
Yeah.
what the term is.
That sounds like a very Smite thing to do, actually.
I think
grand
that's an
scheme.
every competition kind of thing
Yeah.
to do.
That's fair. Left-hand side then with the fire giant
Unless you're a Manchester fan.
wrapped around Passion's waists. They're going to try and bring down some of these towers. Sugar Pea Squad did see a window for a moment or two, took the mid tower in mid and the right-hand side, but now they're going to defend a tier 2 in left, and a great ult from Kumquat causes a lot of problems. Jangaru gets out of the fight, drops Argus, but Delny's having a hard time getting away from anywhere. He's just pinned against the wall. Meanwhile, Crimson does bring down Kumquat, slowing down the defensive aggression out of Sugar Pea Squad, as now Hamster jumps into tower range. The fallback is signaled from Sugar Peas.
Teep dropping the bombs, but it was just a delay tactic coming out of Kumquat. They were not able to successfully kill anyone there. Just barely escaping with the brink of a health pool was Delnyy. Now back in the thick of things with his teleport that is upgraded in a 5-on-4 situation. Sugar Pea Squad forced to defend without their Hunbat's jungle.
Hamster is the only one on Passion with his ultimate available at the moment. Problem is, though, Truancii does still have that Phantom up, so a good decision from Passion to rotate towards mid now, trying to use up the rest of that Fire Giant to their advantage and bring this one down. Sugar Peas were thinking about defending for a second, but then changed their mind. Truancii's just going to probably throw out a Lele Cap and call it a day there and just wait to see if there's a siege in mid, which isn't going to happen.
I like this call, actually, from Passion, not going for the left side Phoenix. This is very safe and calculated because they're timing their completion of the tier 2 tower with the respawn of this Gold Fury. And if we look at their gold in hand, they probably don't want to fight until they can actually spend it to complete their 5th or maybe even 6th important item.
Yeah, Jangaru at 2,000 gold there in hand, and this Gold Fury soon to follow. Also, the fact of the matter there is, if you look at the relic situation, only Crimson had relics up there to try and defend himself. So it makes sense not to go for the siege on the Phoenixes there.
Sure.
For the time being, wait for the right window.
If Fatal Ghost doesn't have his beads, Aegis, yeah, you're just putting yourself in such a risky position that now if they die, then there's going to be so much time to counter push. The respawn timers are at probably almost a minute at this point in the game, so you don't want to give that kind of a window to your opposition to counter push.
Credit where it's due to Honey so far. I actually think he's had a pretty good set. His team as a whole had some troubles and trials and tribulations, but I think Honey's has played pretty well in the Ravana, the Guan Yu this game. Yeah. So far, the player damage, I mean, 18k. He's the only one really standing up to Passion at the moment.
He's not afraid to mix it up with the best of them on the Guan Yu, especially when you're dealing with an Odin. It could be a little tricky. Only going for one Phantom still onto Truancii, as he does have it upgraded, so a little bit of damage reduction now as a result. I would have liked to see a second Phantom out of Honeys. That could have been a little optimal, so not only you save yourself, but maybe Mr. Teep, because there has been some miscommunication where somebody gets caged in, and either it's just too late to do anything about it, and then you die.
Two always shut down an Odin, I feel like. If you've got two that are communicated well, you can really just juggle them consistently, right?
That's very true, yes.
It makes a lot of sense for why you're suggesting the two. But instead, Honey's actually went for the sprint here option, so he's going to be able to upgrade that, give himself a bit more chase potential for him and his team too, and also avoid some of the slows that Passion do bring.
I almost would have liked to see that as a shell instead, because like the only time I would like to see a sprint this late in the game, like level 12 Soul Laner, is if you're dealing with a horrific emblem, which isn't the case from Passion side. They opted for the Cursed Ankh, which I love, by the way, out of Delnyy, which is upgraded, trying to amplify the received incoming damage.
Could also cause some problems with Mr. Teep's Soul Gem too, because if that procs at the first time, it could actually spell disaster for the Sugar Pea Squad on defense. And Passion at the moment though, waiting for the next Fire Giant, hoping for somebody to poke their nose on the right-hand side jungle and investigate. You can see a ping just going down there about ward coverage. But the wards are very deep from Passion now, keeping full vision of the entranceways.
They're just trying to set up that ambush. They know somebody's going to eventually come around the corner. There goes the jump, but just narrowly off the mark to get the stun off. Not going to find any Ragnarok anytime soon. They could still look for the reset and go for round 2, though.
Yeah, with Fire Giant spawning, though, the good news is for Sugar Pea Squad, you can see it flying through the air. Just to give you a bit of vision of the Fire Giant has respawned. Kumquat going to push out the mid lane on the Hunbats, though, and make sure Crimson's busy. Delnyy, though, has picked up Honeys and brought him straight back to the team, but Honeys is still alive for now.
Oh,
Ate
wow.
a lot of damage and got away from the fight. Truancii peels for him nicely, pulls Delnyy into an awkward spot, but Bobby ate way more damage than bargained for on that Hachiman. He's still got his ultimate available for himself. Full focus onto the Kuzumbo, who runs away to safety.
Everyone is just so low from Sugar Pea Squad. Surviving that one is very surprising to me. And what's more surprising is the fact that it's Honeys that's getting picked up by the Ragnarok and not Truancii. Normally, we were talking about how it's Truancii that's going to get picked up, and then they're going to try to isolate him so that you can get off a successful Odin cage. If Truancii was the one picked up and Honeys was locked in, Honeys is dead to rights then.
Fire Giant goes down for the second time this game. That'll be an enhanced one here for Passion. So it will allow them to bring down any towers quite quickly. The problem is there's no towers, but it does still help with Phoenix.
That's right. Eliminating backdoor protections, and we're 31 minutes in. There's going to be a lot of damage from Fatal Ghost. Fully decked out. The only difference he can make here is selling his boots, picking up the speed potion, and picking up maybe... Oh, no, he already has the Titan's Bane there. Maybe he goes for crit. Although he does have to worry about thorns coming out of Truancii and the reflect damage, so the last thing you want to do is go crit on the Hunter.
Definitely. Causes a lot of problems against a Kuzumbo. Kuzumbo really is just the anti-Hunter.
Maybe an Aussie going double lifesteal.
What about trading devs for Bloodforge?
That, or actually he didn't pick up Runeforge Hammer, so he might sell boots for
He
Runeforge.
could. He really could. Left-hand side then, Passion going to slowly bring the minions down, looking for the siege on this left-hand Phoenix. Sugar Pea Squad can't really leave the base at the moment. They've got the lanes pushed out in mid and right-hand side to the halfway point. So they've only really got a straight 5-on-5 on the left to deal with. It's going to be all about the Odin rings, I'd say, or Downey's engages, which have been focused on Honeys time and time again. On the Guan Yu, trying to bring him down before he can get the sustain going.
And on the flip side, it's up to Kumquat to kind of break down that team fight into two separate parts, making sure that that Odin ring not going to be as impactful.
Hamster tanking up the front line, bringing those minions in. Bombs rain down onto Hamster from Teep, forcing him to leap away. Downey gets him with the Ragnarok, but so does Kumquat. Kumquat jumps away from the Ragnarok. The ring from Hamster was defensively used, as was Crimson's ultimate. So at the end of the day, 3 for 2 exchange in terms of ultimates.
It didn't seem like Passion knew how to penetrate that Phoenix properly. They were really just trying to walk on in there and kind of hope that Sugar Pea Squad were the ones to mess up first, but those bombs from Teep was very fruitful, and then the sumo slam out of Truancii, just locking Hamster out of place, out of position, couldn't drop the ideal cage that he wanted.
Yeah, it's just very telegraphed engages from Passion here. You've got a Blink Odin ring, or you've got Delnyy jumping in looking for a Ragnarok. Outside of those two, there's not much else to lead in the charge here, and that's why they can struggle a little bit. Ghost trying to get some time on the Phoenix, gets it to half health as Honey goes very deep to the back line. This is a good defense from Sugar Squad so far, whittling down the health bars a little bit more of Passion and using their own sustain to their advantage. They hold their Phoenix line for now.
They were taking so much damage. They have to utilize their Fire Giant sustain to top themselves off, but it's not going to be as quick to heal as opposed to the fountain that's literally right next door for Sugar Pea Squad, next to their own Phoenixes.
So into the jungle they go for a Primal Fury. I believe this is their second one, which means, well, the Fire Giants will be a little bit easier. Time and time again, doing a little bit more damage.
About 14% easier to get some of these objectives. So
Is it about or is it exactly?
I think it's 7% per stack.
I don't know. That's why I was asking you. And when you said it, when
So
you
it's
said
either-
it sounded very confident.
I remember it was 5%, but I'm pretty sure we buffed it to 7%.
Maybe we did. Maybe we didn't.
I remember.
Oh, we know it does.
I remember those meetings where we were considering buffing it to 7%. So that's a little spoiler for you guys if it's not out there yet.
It's really funny though, Tully, because in this game, I'm still not confident in Passion winning.
Same. They
You
can
know
easily
why?
throw.
Yeah, I was gonna say we saw too much of this in game 2, where I'm like, well,
Sorry. It's not that I could see Passion throw. I could see Sugar Pea Squad coming back in.
no, you being the nice guy. I'm like, no, they'll probably make a mistake. We've seen plenty of mistakes this set so far.
Sure.
5, 1 and 4 on Crimson on this Raijin again. Teep's not really managed to get as involved as he did in game 2 so far, has he? This Agni's been really shut down. He's only at 11k player damage.
A lot of that comes down to the Odin pick,
Odin?
honestly,
Yeah.
because that almost puts Teep in a position where he has to question every little W key. Like, if he holds the W key for even 1 second, he's like,
Yep.
looking both ways, crossing the
It
street.
really felt-
Where am I going?
The first gang from Hamster on him, immediately he got the Phantom and got away. And then the second one,
He died.
they got a little bit confident, overconfident, I'd say. And I think that's what has like checked him in his brain a little bit and it's causing problems.
That's true. He did die the second game.
Yeah.
First one he barely survived, and now as a result he's just kind of cautiously treading water, which I don't blame him. As an Agni player, I don't even want to be anywhere next to this Odin. And then, even then, the thing is, you want to be close to the Raijin because of Taiko drums. That he's a sitting duck for all your
Just those
bomb
bombs,
stuns.
yeah.
But if you're close to the Raijin to do that, now you're going to be close to everyone else. So playing defense is going to be that much harder for Teep. He has to only throw his bombs on the front line instead.
Credit where it's due to Jangaru, though. We were criticizing their Hera in Game 2 of not really making much of an impact in terms of anything like damage and otherwise. But Game 3, Passion have managed to bring this Hera out in the jungle and do 20k player damage right behind Raijin for the most part. It's kind of worked out totally.
A lot more effective than it was in game number 2, I would say, personally, because...
In the 5-on-5s, but it doesn't feel like the jungle pressure wasn't really there
yeah,
still.
the jungle pressure wasn't as
Potent.
extreme or like as noticeable as it was for other junglers, for example. But I think he's still like doing a quiet jungle job. He's just casually throwing out those Arguses and letting that take over.
18,000 gold lead for Passion. Still, though, they've not all managed to sell off all their items. Well, all their get the elixirs for speed, selling their boots. Only really Delny's managed to do that so far on this squad as they start to barrel down mid. This time, though, Passion are bringing another minion wave in a different lane at the same time. You can see over the right-hand side, Hamster's just going to bring in these minions and make sure there's some pressure elsewhere on the map.
Doing a 3-2 split between the right side and the middle, 3 in mid, 2 on the right side. Odin, Hera on the right, gonna isolate away this Kuzenbo Hun Bats while already Cernunnos trying to chip away at that middle Phoenix, but not getting much luck there because of Teep's bombs, creating that buffer zone, that no man's land that nobody wants to be a part of.
I do like this split from Pea Squad, though. The characters they've sent to these lanes are the right ones, I feel. Kumquat and Truancii definitely going to be able to deal with Hera a little bit more. Would have been nice to have Truancii maybe dealing with Ghost, though, just because of that AD carry damage that can be retaliated back
Yeah,
with those
but
spike
like you
shells.
want to keep Truancii wherever the Odin is because that's
Yeah.
your only Phantom as well. So it's in this catch-22 phase.
Definitely is. 4 members versus 4 in mid. Blinking straight away and immediately a Phantom onto Bobby. Honeys goes to the backline trying to burst down the carries, but at the end of the day, his horse is gone and so is he.
Yeah, Fear No Evil in the backline creating a lot of confusion. Teep's bombs is forcing out an Aegis out of Jangaru as well. Delnyy using that Brutalize is going to force out Kumquat. So far, it's only Honey's dead.
Phoenix does go down though as Delnyy gets away. Bobby answers back onto Hamster, but that's only a carry dead for, sorry, a tank dead for now. As Passion now swing to the right hand side. Kumquat's back looking at Crimson who stuck around too long. But he'll escape to live again. The Aegis beat saves the day.
The polymorph onto Teep. He couldn't do more than a singular bomb that he wanted. He still has that blue diamond. The second bomb was just aching to be thrown out there as Delnyy did teleport on the right side. Barely not able to get that right side Phoenix, but at least they got the middle one.
38.5 minutes in, and finally a Phoenix has fallen this game. In the middle lane, Pea Squad have been in this spot before. They did it in Game 2. It's not going to be hard to do it again in Game 3, I would suggest, if they can keep up the momentum and realize they've got the strength to hold on.
It's just about their engagement so far, and it doesn't matter if it's Hamster playing the Fenrir or if it's Delnyy playing the Fenrir, because Hamster is in there diving all the back lines, really being a nuisance and just creating all the chaos for Pea Squad, where they have to like keep Truancii next to the Odin, making sure Teep is far away enough to avoid all that incoming damage. And it's up to Pea Squad to play perfectly, whereas Passion's just throwing everything in the kitchen sink at them.
They've got a bit of time still, Passion, with the fire giant buff around their waist. Will get themselves the Agni Fury, which will empower all 3 sets of minions in the wave. The next one's at
Which
spawn,
is huge, by the way.
including the fire minions.
Yeah,
down
that is
mid.
really huge. I believe it might be the next
I think,
set
I
of
think they
waves.
just spawned those ones.
Yeah, it
should
has to be the
wave.
next set of waves there. It glows up a little bit.
Passion going to head down the left-hand side, then bring in a normal minion wave with them. And a quick pause will come out from Honeys here of the Pea Squad as they prepare to defend this siege. Passion kind of split things up that time, 2 and a 3. At the end of the day, it worked out well for them that time round. Do they go for the same option, splitting it further?
I think so, honestly. It worked out, but then eventually they took that 2-3 split and then made it a full-on 5-0 split in the mid lane, or 5-on-5 split. And they're really utilizing Hamster, blinking into that back line, on this Odin this time around.
Hamster's in the mid lane, pushing out those fire minions now as the rest of his team start to siege up this Phoenix. 4 minion wave there, but being very respectful of the fact that they don't have the Odin with them. Downey's looking for the window to jump in and finds it. Picks up Honeys, brings him back to the team. Drums of war sounded. That was not even with the curse dong. That was just raw damage.
Honeys just gets obliterated completely. Now in a 5-on-4 power play for a full minute. Passion just casually sit in the back line, utilize some of their sustain that they have. Although the Fire Giant buff did fizzle away.
Blinking, Bobby and Teep both trapped inside. Where is Truancii? He needs to give him the Phantom. He gets it there in time to get Teep away, but the damage is still too much. And Teep will fall down. Bobby survives, but the Phoenix does not.
Left side Phoenix goes down, making it 2 Phoenixes stripped away. Passion, thinking about what they want to do. Right side Phoenix versus Fire Giant versus the Titan. They're grouped up in the mid lane. They see Kumquat right in front of them. The Polymorph is actually going to get him on out of there, forcing the beats.
Yeah, forces a Mage's Blessing there, more importantly. Oh, Mage's Cloak, I should say. Beads were already on cooldown for Kumquat at that stage, but now the Titan under threat. Delnyy getting more than he bargained for. Hamster still tanking up the Titan. Kumquat to the back looking at Crimson, but then Kumquat gets picked up by the Ragnarok, and Delnyy gets credit for the kill.
That's going to be another one dead onto Truancii. His Fatal Ghost gets credit with that kill. Titan very low, and that's going to be game 3 going to Passion.
What a crazy set over on Xbox North America. Sugar Pea Squad had chances to win throughout the day, but it's Passion that come up with the victory. That was a very even set.
A very long set. It was very even up until about that 25-minute marker where there was just a lot of kills around the Fire Giant, and then it was just no coming back after that one for Passion.
Why were those sets so long, Tori? Why were those games so long overall?
I think it was just both of these teams figuring out the right, proper way to engage. Like, Teep had no business in that game 3 with how aggressive the front line was coming out of Passion.
Didn't work out then for Peas. Let's get it over to the desk to break down the whole day.
We certainly will. An drawn-out ending to the day, I would say, here from this very final set. But we got there eventually. Passion able to close it out in a hard-fought match. Finch and Taco here to close everything out for you after a long day of console, really. What kind of stood out to you between Passion and Sugar Pea Squad in that game, in that set, just in general?
I think that Sugar Pea Squad are a team that need to go back to the drawing board a little bit, brush up, I think, on their VOD review especially, and maybe look to be a little bit more decisive surrounding those objective calls and team fights. A lot of times it felt like there were multiple targets being called as focus points, and it didn't seem like the entire team was on page with the calls being made, so maybe there was conflicting shot calls happening from 1 or 2 other members.
Yeah, this was a tough game for them. I don't know if they really had a claim to win this one. They certainly did in game 2, and unfortunately it ends up getting away from them towards the end. But I like that Passion weren't afraid to do things a little bit differently. They like this Hera in the jungle role. That's something they did twice here in this game. Crimson on the Raijin was an absolute nightmare for this team to deal with as well. Sugar Pea Squad had too many issues, I think, to try and slow down if they wanted to close this game out. Some of them being that it felt like Teep was a lot of the times trying to do this work alone more times than not. He got some good performances out of Kumquat here and there, but consistently getting that rest of the squad to step up seemed to be a bit of an issue. A lot of that, though, it just came down to Crimson having a lights-out set, especially on this Raijin.
Yeah, you were just talking about members stepping up, but in the case of Passion, I mean, they didn't really have to do much other than follow-up off of Crimson's damage. I think that he had great positioning with this Raijin. That was probably the most important part that I was taking notice of, that Jangaru was consistently using Argus as that breaching member of the front line, and that alleviated a lot of the pressure from Delny's shoulders on that Fenrir, because Fenrir can kind of struggle as these matches go later and later, especially when you're at that 40-minute mark. It can be difficult, I think, for a Fenrir to feel as tanky as he did 20 minutes into the match. So the fact that Argus was able to provide that pseudo frontlining type member playstyle, I thought was a really interesting and refreshing style of play from these guys.
Yeah, and you mentioned a little bit about Delnyy there too. It looked like when he was able to play an aggressive solo laner, that helped this team out a lot. We saw him on the Achilles, some on the Fenrir, whichever one of those he was playing, it seemed to do well for him, right? As soon as they were able to let him be one of those ones that was dictating the pace of the game. But in the end, it is going to be Passion that able to grab that set 2-1 at the very end and close it out. Let's go ahead and take a look at the standings just overall. I think we're going to start with EU as we look towards Out Cold Gaming, and up there at the top This is PS4 Europe. No surprise, they're 2-0. We saw those top two teams play towards the beginning of the day and out-cold the ones that came out on top. Then we can take a look at the standings for PS4 in North America. This is Shrimp Gang looking good, but so is Cyclone. Those two have not played each other just yet.
And I'll be excited to see when that matchup does finally end up taking its place. Big Money Esports and Benedict Cavalry still trailing behind here, but we've seen some promising performances, I think, out of Benedict. Haven't been able to close out the set, but it's been close a few times more often than not, and I think that says a lot as is.
Yeah, close works for a while, but as they get going, they got to start actually closing those out. Let's go ahead and take a look at Xbox standings as well and see how those are all shaking. Dabo's Disciple, Coast, and the boys doing well up at the top. 2-0, and even Team Rival, a lot of his old teammates couldn't quite touch him up there at the top.
I'm still sitting in second place, but it is only the second week to come.
Right.
Still plenty of console action to take place in the future, Finch.
Yeah, and they kind of wreaked havoc with the rest of the SCL as well, with where those teams ended up as we head over to Xbox standings over there in North America, where you know that Hype Unit are looking good. They have been done well. Looks like they ended up taking a loss. That's a bit surprising with a team that strong. They've dropped down. So still some parity over there in North America.
Hey, everybody's got at least one, and that's the even playing ground. So we're closing out week 2 here for the SEL, but week 3 might as well be week 1 with some of these standings.
That's right, or at least with the way it's shaped out for North American Xbox, it's still up for grabs. Just about everybody. SCL looking good as things just getting started. That was the end of our second week, at least for them. They'll be rolling in that third week next week, so it's impressive from top to bottom. They're not the only ones that we've got going, though. SML is going to be tomorrow. You're absolutely not going to want to miss that one either. Make sure that you're back here at 11 a.m. to catch that one, too. SCL and SML all leading up to the SPL. Again, it's going to be starting next week on Thursdays, Fridays as well. So plenty of competitive Smite taco from every direction.
March 28th, make sure that you
That's
mark
it.
those calendar dates because you're going to want to be here when the SPL kicks off, and you're still going to want to be here tomorrow for that SML.
That's right. There's a lot on the SML side of things that you're going to want to make sure that you check out as well, too, right? I mean, there's been some shakeups with some of those rosters. Things are exciting. There's some subs coming in. There's a ton that you're going to want to see on that side. Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it. Me too.
Every time.
I'm looking forward to it as well. Looking forward to this day drawing to a close, though. I appreciate y'all being here. It was a long one. We started at 11 a.m. It's 7 o'clock now. Can't believe we're still going. But thank you all for watching so much. Gonna do it for the SCL. Make sure you tune in for the SML as well. We'll see you all then.
We're living quick.